One thing you could say about Donald Trump, though, he has a vivid imagination. He has created a dangerous organization to get the old people excited and fired up, a supervillain called Antifa. And the reason we know Antifa is organized against the government is because their matching signs indicate they are somehow in league with Kinkos.
You're seeing people out there with thousands of signs that all match, pre-bought, pre-put together. They're organized and someone is funding it. We're going to get to the funding of Antifa. We're going to get to the root of Antifa, and we are going to find and charge all of those people who are causing this chaos in Portland and all these other cities across our country.
Yeah, and if we can't find them, we're going to pretend we did. Antifa is just short for anti-fascist. It's not a club you can join. There are no membership dues, but they have matching signs. Okay, well, I guess we better round up these domestic terrorists, too. They look pretty matching to me. Listen, I'm going to tell you this. Spread it around. There's no chaos in Portland. None. There is no chaos in Chicago.
Because when making life or death, war or peace decisions, a president just can't pop off or lash out irrationally. No! We need an adult in the...
Jimmy Kimmel came out swinging with a roast so fierce it left the room gasping, while Michelle Obama followed up with her own calm but devastating truths. Trump didn't see any of it coming. Between Kimmel's cutting humor and Michelle's unshakable poise, it turned into a meltdown visible from a mile away. It was like someone had finally poked a hole in Trump's oversized ego, and the result was part comedy, part chaos, and completely unforgettable.
The president is very busy prosecuting his enemies. His goon squad today indicted his own former national security advisor, John Bolton. He is just brazenly lying about the economy and grocery prices, but he did have a chat with Vlad Putin today.
I hope you'll forgive me if I'm a little frustrated that some of us are choosing to ignore Donald Trump's gross incompetence while asking Kamala to dazzle us at every turn. I hope that you'll forgive me if I'm a little angry that we are indifferent to his erratic behavior.
If you're liking this moment, don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell icon. Anyone who thought Trump could escape the spotlight clearly underestimated Jimmy Kimmel. He didn't just roast, he erupted like a human fireworks show, and poor Trump had no clue the storm that was coming. This wasn't ordinary teasing, it was a full-blown dismantling of arrogance, ego, and that famous hair he's so proud of.
They're bacteria. You know, sometimes we get so fixated on Trump, we forget there are other disgusting creatures hell-bent on bringing about the end of the world out there.
That being president isn't anything like reality TV. It is not an apprenticeship. And it is not just about fiery speeches or insulting tweets. It's about whether someone can handle the awesome responsibility of leading this country.
1 minute Trump's online ranting about election conspiracies, and the next Kimmel lands a punchline so sharp it could register on a seismic scale. At the same time, in another setting, Michelle Obama is calmly speaking her truth, quiet but explosive, each word landing like a perfectly targeted bomb of reality.
But our president, Metamucil World Peace, is having a pretty good week, or he was anyway. Yesterday, Trump had what was easily the most presidential day of his life. He was front and center on the world stage signing a ceasefire in the Middle East, and then he got home, he started going through the internet, and he just couldn't help himself. Trump made the cover of Time magazine, which he usually loves. You know, before he was president, he had fake Time magazine covers hanging on the walls of his golf club, for real. But this one, I guess, conjured up some mixed feelings because of the photo they used.
Let's start with Kimmel. He didn't even pretend to warm up. It was like watching someone open Pandora's box without realizing they can't close it again. Every joke he delivered sliced right through Trump's usual defenses. You know how Trump loves calling himself the smartest person in the room? Kimmel walked in, said nothing, and turned that brag into a life lesson on humility.
We know folks are going to do everything they can to distort her truth. My husband and I sadly know a little something about this. For years, Donald Trump did everything in his power to try to make people fear us. See, his limited, narrow view of the world made him feel threatened by the existence of two hardworking, highly educated, successful people who happen to be black.
Suddenly, all the tremendous deals and very stable genius talk started sounding like a kid trying to build a sandcastle in a hurricane. What made it brilliant wasn't just the jokes, but the precision behind them. Each one landed like it was calculated by scientists studying embarrassment. Trump tried to keep his cool, flashing that practice confidence, but by the third joke, even his reflection looked disappointed. His aides probably whispered, "Maybe we should have checked that," but it was too late. The damage was done. Kimmel's humor kept rolling like a tide Trump couldn't escape, while Michelle's words hit with the slow, steady power of truth that leaves no room for defense.
It's upset him so much that at 1:36 a.m. he posted, "Time magazine wrote a relatively good story about me, but the picture may be the worst of all time. They disappeared my hair and then had something floating on top of my head that looked like a floating crown, but an extremely small one. Really weird." Now I want to go back to that cover and show you this crown. Okay, that's not a crown, that's the letter M. Only he would see an M on his head and assume it's a crown. If that's not an M, you're on the cover of Time magazine, okay?
On the other side, Michelle Obama was quietly tearing apart the illusion, word by word, showing that truth can sting more than any joke. Trump must have been wondering how she stayed so calm while everyone else was laughing. His whole image was collapsing in real time. It was like watching someone defend a paper tower while it's being shredded by invisible scissors. Kimmel's chaos was perfectly timed, and Michelle's grace was merciless. The two together created a storm that stripped away Trump's armor, leaving him looking like a man trying to build a wall out of whipped cream.
If a candidate is erratic and threatening, if a candidate traffics in prejudice, fears, and lies on the campaign trail, if a candidate thinks that not paying taxes makes you smart, or that it's good business when people lose their homes, if a candidate regularly and flippantly makes cruel and insulting comments about women, about how we look, how we act, well, sadly, that's who that candidate really is. That is the kind of president they will be.
Kimmel didn't stop there. He dug deep through old interviews, public blunders, and years of quotes, uncovering every flaw like a comedy archaeologist. There was nowhere for Trump to hide. Meanwhile, Michelle Obama's approach was elegant but cutting, slicing through his logic with calm intelligence. Watching Trump react was pure theater, like seeing someone try to stop a flood with sticky notes. The audience couldn't get enough. This wasn't just a roast anymore, it was a revelation. Trump wasn't being destroyed in one blow, he was being exposed, layer by layer, until the truth stood clear for everyone to see.
Finally being honored for wearing that tie down to your knees. Every morning is a game of who am I mad at today? Is it the Cracker Barrel logo? Is it windmills? Is it Bad Bunny? Is it the Nobel Prize? Or is it the turkey vagina slapping around over my chin? I'm not sure we're even allowed to show his neck on TV. Wouldn't it be funny if the FCC fined us for showing his neck on TV? Trump went on, "I never like taking pictures from underneath angles, but this is a super bad picture and deserves to be called out. What are they doing and why?" It's like he's a TikTok influencer yelling at her boyfriend for not knowing her angles.
The best part is, Trump didn't even realize how it all happened. He was left standing there, blinking, trying to process how humor and truth had collided right in front of him. The world watched like it was the finale of a show they couldn't look away from. Trump, the master of chaos, was suddenly the one drowning in it. The tweets were already being written, but Kimmel was 2 steps ahead, a comedy genius playing chess while Trump barely understood the game. Michelle Obama, calm and unshaken, spoke with the kind of politeness that can destroy pride without raising a voice. Trump's confidence began to crack, his usual bravado slipping as every word she spoke chipped at his self-image.
Obvious mental decline, his history as a convicted felon, a known slumlord, a predator found liable for sexual abuse, all of this while we pick apart Kamala's answers from interviews that he doesn't even have the courage to do, y'all. Please do not hand our fates over to the likes of Trump, who knows nothing about us, who has shown deep contempt for us. Because a vote for him is a vote against us.
The laughter didn't stop. Kimmel took it further, using visual gags that hit harder than words. A cardboard cutout of Trump with exaggerated features, hair wild, expression frozen mid-tweet, and the crowd went wild. Trump's outrage only made things worse, every move feeding the joke. Meanwhile, Michelle Obama stayed composed, her intelligence cutting deeper than any insult could. Her calm logic was a mirror showing Trump every flaw he tried to hide. By the end, his confidence looked hollow, the performance running on fumes as the illusion fell apart.
But I did get some exciting news this weekend. According to a new poll from YouGov, which is a serious polling site, or they were before this, I am more popular than the President of the United States. The guy who keeps saying I have no ratings? Well, that makes two of us. They polled more than 1,000 people, and I lead Trump by 16 points. I'm at +3, he's at -13.
What made it all so powerful was the contrast. Kimmel was pure chaos, wild, witty, unpredictable, while Michelle was deliberate, measured, and in total control. Together, they exposed the limits of bluster. Trump's reaction swung from confusion to panic, like a man trying to remember lyrics to a song he once wrote but can't recall. Kimmel weaved in history, scandals, and policy missteps with poetic timing. Michelle built her case through moral clarity and logic, silencing Trump's interruptions with quiet finality. It was like watching a cat swat at shadows while the dog calmly walks away with the prize.
Last night where she said that you're in over your head and the wrong president for the country.
She was over her head, and frankly, she should have made the speech live, which she didn't do. She taped it, and it was not only taped, it was taped a long time ago because she had the wrong deaths. She didn't even mention the vice presidential candidate in the speech, and she gets these fawning reviews. If you gave a real review, it wouldn't be so fawning. I thought it was a very divisive speech, extremely divisive. And frankly, I wouldn't even be here if it weren't for Barack Obama. See, we're standing in the White House. I wouldn't be in the White House except for Barack Obama because they did a bad job, Biden and Obama.
The crowd felt it too, that moment when laughter becomes truth. They weren't just amused, they were witnessing something undeniable. Kimmel's relentless energy and Michelle's surgical precision created a perfect storm. Trump's flailing became both funny and tragic, a man trapped in his own performance. He kept reacting, not realizing every gesture was part of the punchline. Michelle dropped one final truth that froze him mid-motion, the audience roaring with applause. The mix of humor and intellect left him outmatched, his old tricks useless against real wit and composure.
Is nice, but it feels like, considering the fact that I'm not a convicted felon friend of Jeffrey Epstein, and I've never paid off a porn star or sent a team of masked goons into a park to pull an old lady away from her grandchildren, I feel like my rating should be higher maybe than... At this point, finding a toenail in your salad has a 7-point lead over Donald Trump. And I hope he doesn't see this. I hate to, I don't like to upset him.
By the end, the story had outgrown the roast itself. It wasn't just about Trump being mocked. It was about how ego crumbles when it meets intelligence and grace. Kimmel and Michelle, each in their own way, showed that charm and authenticity always outshine arrogance. When the laughter faded, Trump was still there, but his public image had taken a hit that couldn't be undone. Every awkward pause, every failed comeback, every desperate attempt to recover had been captured forever. Funny, humiliating, and unforgettable. Together, Kimmel's wild humor and Michelle's calm wisdom proved that even the loudest figures can be humbled when truth and talent collide. Trump was left standing in the wreckage, blinking as history laughed and moved on. And if you had fun watching this, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell. You're on Jacob Reports, where the drama's real, the laughs are loud, and the next story's always wilder than the last.